Hello all, welcome to CGN Integrated Solutions next now video. Today we will be talking about uh, payroll feature in Tally Prime. Most of you know that Tally has a functionality called payroll. Um, Today I will be talking about how to configure Tally payroll feature in your Tally, or how to implement Tally payroll for your organization, and how to create the employment groups, that is nothing but your departments, the employees, different kind of attendance and overtime, and how to calculate the overtime for the employees, how to calculate the gratuities. All those things will be covered in today's session. So before we proceed, let me just explain to you what exactly in we are covering in our Tally payroll management. So this is a fully integrated accounting to streamline your payroll processing. All organization can set up and process payroll using simple and complex criteria. Even simple way also we can handle it. In a complex scenario also we can handle payroll in Tally. So these are the benefits. These are the things which is included in our payroll management. Basically, payroll statement, attendance, overtime registers, gratuity, expat reports. Things are covered. And these are the main benefits of the payroll management, payrolls feature in Tally Prime. And these are the benefit you will be getting as an organization from this particular feature. You will be getting support for user-defined earning and deductions payhead, flexible and user-defined criteria for simplex and complex calculations. You can create unlimited masters for payroll, and automatically or autofill option is provided to process your salary. You don't have to individually process the salary of employee. You can process as a group, and arrears, if anything is there, you can calculate as. And if most of the cases, employees, as an organization, you will be supporting the employees by providing the loans, the salary advance. You can track what are the loans you have provided to the employees, and how much they have repaid, or how much you have recovered from the employees, etc., etc. And these are the main steps which we have to follow in Tally Prime to implement the payroll feature in Tally. First step is going to be the creating groups, then creating the employees, creating payroll units, creating attendance and production type, creating pay heads, defining the salary structure and payroll transactions, overtime calculation and posting. So if you follow this, the first 5 6 steps, you will be easily be configuring your payroll feature in your organization and in your Tally. So now let me take you through uh, the Tally directly. And I will show you the proper configuration, and I will show you how to configure, how to enable the Tally payroll functionality on your Tally, or in how to implement that feature in your Tally. Let us now see how we can create employees in our Tally Prime payroll management software. When you go inside this create button, you have an option for payroll masters, and under the payroll masters, you will have the option to create the employee. A complete history of an employee can be provided in this particular screen, but starting with their name, the complete information, including the contract expiry date, you will be allowed to provide in this particular screen. You also have some other information which is there in the F12 configuration. You can enable these functionalities if you wish to, and then that information will be displayed on the main screen. We will see how we can create a dummy employee. We will give the dummy employee as the name as Anthony, okay, and his name displays in the report as same as what we have given the name, and he is under which department. So whatever the departments we have created in the initial time, the initial video, so those will be displayed over here. So we can select which department he belongs to, and you can just tag it. You can specify the date of joining, from when or which date onwards he was present, or from which date onwards he joined the company, and define salary details. You want to define his salary at the moment, or you wanted to do it later? This is the question. We will define the salary later. We will come to that. Before we define the salary, I need to also explain to you what are the components of the salary, that I will explain to you in my next video. Right now, we will keep this option as no. And you wanted to give any notes for the employee, for this particular employee, you can provide it. And what is the employee number? What is his designation? What are the function, sales and marketing? Which location he is into, and category of his gender, date of birth, what is his blood group, father's and mother's name, spouse name, and what is the complete address of the employee. And you can give the contact number of the person, his bank account details if you wish to provide, so that the salary can be directly transferred to his bank account from the Tally directly. I mean, those features will be coming very soon. And which bank he belongs to, which bank he has an account and branch, and type of transaction, you can just mention it and then leave it. And what is his labor card number, and his Emirates ID number, and Emirates ID expiry date, the passport number, from which country he belongs to, and what the passport number, country of issue, and passport expiry date, and visa number, visa expiry date, work permit number. If we have any work permit number, you can provide all this information and you can save it. This is how we can create an employee master in the TallyPrime payroll configuration screen. And you can also use this particular field, especially for this particular field, for the insurance number and the expiry of the insurance. If you don't have any contract start date and pay, you can also mention this, utilize this place for insurance ID and password. Insurance renewal date and the expiry date, you can use this particular field for. So this is how we create an employee master in the Tally Prime application. An employee work, right? So these days and hours are the unit which we need to create in our Tally payroll management system to process the salaries, or to understand actual overtime work by an employee. So how we are going to create that unit is what I'm going to show you now. We'll straight away go to the create button from the gateway of Tally, and under the payroll masters you have units. Click on the units and select the unit of measure as days, and the formal days you can give it as days as well, or formal days you don't have to give anything. If it is there, you can give anything. Number of decimal places for days are not mandatory, so you can just keep it. Same way for hours also, you can give the simple as hours, HRS, and the formal name was hours. Decimal places you can give, because if it is based on a time will have a decimal places, so we can have the decimal places as 2 and accept it. So this is how we create units in Tally Prime for payroll processing. Once this is done, now our next step is going to be creating the attendance type or the production type. Most of our salaries are based on the number of days we work, or the number of hours we work, or the number of overtime uh, we work, and based on that, the salary needs to be calculated. So, and also there are different kinds of attendance available in our most of the organization. Some are absent. Absent means leave without salary. Some are sick leave. Sick leave means the companies will allow them to pay the salary even if they take the sick leave. And some are like maternity leave, paternity leave. There are many kind of leaves are available, right? So based on that, once that is done, our next step is to create the different types of attendance and production heads. In most of the organization, there are different types of attendance, right? Some means if they are absent, their salary should be deducted from their basic salary. And if they are taking sick leave, it depends on the company's policies. The salary needs to be deducted, or the salary needs to be paid, or the leave with pay. That kind of options will be available for the employees, right? So that is what we are going to create it. On the same way, how if an employee works overtime for a particular period, how the calculation should be, that also has to be defined in this particular head. So I will show you how to create the different types of attendance and the overtime heads. We will go to create, we will go to attendance and production type. We will create a head called absent, absence, primary. Tally is asking you, what does this mean? Absent means you wanted to pay the salary to the employee. That means attendance leave with pay or leave without pay. Means if a person is absent for one day, Tally is asking you, do you wanted to give him salary or you don't wanted to give him salary? So most of the companies, we will, if a person is absent, means we will deduct his salary and then we will pay the balance amount. So this should be leave without pay, and we have to accept it. Same way, we will have sick leaves. In most of the companies, sick leaves are leave with pay. That means if a person is sick, he is allowed to take the leave, and they will be marked as sick leaves, and they will be provided with the salary for that. And then we have annual leave. Okay, this is also leave with pay. Most of the companies will be providing the annual leave salary, so we will have to select as annual with pay. And then there are different kind of leaves available according to your company organization structure. You can create this one. The same way, we will also create cal overtime calculation based on the production. Mean to say, if a person is worked 2 hours extra, then the 2 hours overtime needs to be calculated. So the overtime is based on the hours. Based on the hourly basis, overtime will be calculated. So this is how we create the different type of attendance and production type. How the overtime is calculated, that is coming in our next video or the next slide. Okay, this is how the creation takes place. To calculate an overtime, we have to tag the attendance type as production and the unit as hours and save it. So this is how we create the different type of production types. Our next session, next step is going to be creating the pay heads, the different kind of pay heads. Mean to say the different components of your salary, basic salary, house rent allowances, and other traveling expenses. How we are going to define uh, the the salary is what is we are going to create it now. So we will. I have already created the pay heads. I will just explain that for you. So we will go to the alter and we will go to pay heads. The first one is going to be basic salary. So most of us we will have basic salary. in our labor contracts, you can see the basic salary, and you will give the name as basic salary and with the pay head tab as earning for employees, and this is going to be fixed, and it can be direct expenses or indirect expenses as per the company's organizational chart of accounts. Nature of you can define it, and affect the net salary should be yes, and what should be displayed in our pay slip, that should be the same as. So do you want to use this particular pay head for gratuity calculation? Yes, it has to be yes. And the calculation, this is very important. Our basic salary is actually calculated on attendance. Mean to say, if a person is absent for a day, his basic salary will be deducted based on number of days he was absent. So we will select here as attendance, and attendance leave with pay. No, it is not leave with pay. It is actually leave without pay. So we have to select absent, the one which we have created. And calculation period, is it monthly you are going to calculate the salary, or it is going to be daily you are going to calculate the salary? Then based on that, so we will select months. And as per the calendar period, so we will follow as per the calendar period calculation, and then we will give this as yes. Same way you will have HRA, that we will create it for you, just for you to understand. HRA, house rent allowance. Okay, Tally is asking, this pay hit is actually an earning for an employee or deduction of an employee? If any deduction, you will select deduction from an employee, but it is a learning or earning for an employee, you will select an earning for an employee. And fixed direct expenses, affect net salary, yes. What should be displayed in the payslip? It should be house and allowances, or you can type it as HRA. And you want this to be, this component to be calculated for gratuity? Basically, it is no, because gratuity is basically calculated on the basic salary. And what is the calculation period? User defined value, or it is a flat rate, or it on basis of attendance you are going to give it. How the house rent allowances is provided? This is mostly I have seen in as a flat rate the companies are giving on a month basis. So flat rate we will keep it as HRA. And same way, transportation allowances, this is also an earning for employee. This is fixed direct expenses, all these things have to be provided. This is also on a flat rate company will provide to all the employees, and give yes. Then there will be some kind of deductions for the employees. For example, they take an advance salary, and there will be some kind of deductions, right? So we will give salary or loan deduction. They sometimes the employee takes a loan from the company, and that needs to be deducted every month for a certain period of time. So that we can set it up. So we will say loan deduction. Okay, so is it an earning for employee or it is a deduction for employee? Basically, this is a deduction from employee, right? Because whatever the loan we have provided to them will be recollected by from his salary by deducting from his salary. And loan deduction, is it a user defined value or flat rate? Sometimes what happened, the employee says, um, I will tell you on which all months you need to deduct my salary. Okay, some cases the company says it is not like that. Every month it will be deducted until certain period. But as an exemption cases, some companies will allow the employees to inform the HR to deduct the salary based on his paying capacity. So in that case, you will select as user defined value. So whenever the employee inform the HR that you can deduct my salary for this particular month, then the HR will be able to deduct it. Or in another scenario, the company will decide as per the company policy and instruct the employee that we will deduct this much amount as a loan recovery from your salary. Then these option will be selected and we will accept the screen. Like this, you can create different kind of pay heads and you can define against each employee. I hope this is clear. Now comes our final configuration, that is defining the salary. So to define the salary, what we need to go do is we have to go to alter and just click on define salary. And to whom you wanted to define the salary. So we will select the person name and we will set from 1/1/2025 onwards. His basic salary will be 5,000 and his HRA will be 2,500. His transportation allowances will be 2,500. Mobile will be 500 and his loan deduction will be 2,500. So assume that this guy assume that this guy has taken a loan from the company in the initial month itself, and then we will say his loan deduction will be to 3,000 per month has to be deducted. Okay, and then we will save this screen. So this is how we define a salary. So the most important thing was how when we are creating the pay head, if you set up things in a proper way, defining the salary would be much easier. Okay, now the steps are completed. Now we will move to the processing of the payroll. So the 90% of work was on the setting up the payroll configuration, that creating an employee group too. Till this stage was the 90% of your work. Once this is done, employee wise, this is done, then the rest is just 10% work for you. At the end of the month, you will have to just process their salary. Now, I will take up that topic for you now. Today is 31st of Jan 2025. Today, we are going to process the salary of Mr. Anthony, only Anthony, or you can also pay the salary for all employees together. But for a demo purpose, I will be using only Mr. Anthony's payroll. So what we will do is at the end of the month, we will first process his attendance. So here we have the option called other vouchers. We will select attendance and we will mark Mr. Anthony's absent. How many days he was absent? Assume he was absent for 2 working days. You can select the other employees if you want it, or also you can autofill. You don't have to individually fill their attendance. You can always autofill the attendance. Just to show you, if you click on autofill, it will give you this particular screen and we will just mention attendance autofill, which date you want to post this attendance entry, and you wanted to process all the employees or you wanted to post only particular employee. I'm saying I will process for all employees. And what exactly you are going to do, is it for you are going to mark the absent for the employees, or you're going to mark the sick leave for the employees, or you're going to mark overtime for the employees? So I'm going to say I am going to mark absent for employees by employee name. So all my employees will come, and then I will choose who all are absent. Okay, according to their name, I will just mark it. Absent is, I will mark it how many days he was absent, and then I will mark it as, and I'll save this entry. So this is how we make a attendance entry. Once the attendance entry is done, we will do the overtime. If any employees have worked overtime, that also has to be processed. That I will take you on the next session. Right now, I will show how we process the salary for the employees which we posted the attendance. Now we will go to the other vouchers and we will go to payroll. Okay, so like the attendance voucher we have here, autofill. Just need to click on autofill, select what you are going to do. We are going to do salary. We are going to process for salary for the month of Jan to 31st January. Do you wanted to process it for all employees or you wanted to process it for only one employee? I will select only one employee because for the other demo purposes, I've already processed the rest of employee salary. So I will select one employee by employee name and I will say salary payable. You can see the salary has been calculated automatically and you can just accept the screen. just to see the calculation, Ronnie was absent for 2 days, so his basic salary has been deducted. HRA was a flat rate, transportation allowances was flat rate, and mobile bill was flat rate, and the loan deduction amount was flat rate needs to be deducted from his salary. So total of basic salary plus HRA plus transportation allowances plus mobile bill minus loan deduction has come to this amount. So this is how we process the salary. Once this is done, we will make payment voucher, and here also we have an option for autofill. We will say payroll autofill for the month of so and so date for the payment of salary, salary payable. Then we will say if you're paying through bank, you will select the bank here. If you're paying by cash, you will give cash and you will save the entry. So this is how we generate the payroll. Let's discuss about the overtime calculation in TallyPrime Payroll. Assume that you have an employee. He has a different kind of overtime package. For example, in a normal working day, if he works, then his overtime charges is going to be XYZ. And he works on a public holiday, then his charges are going to be different. How we are going to calculate that in our tally system is what I'm going to show you. So as a first step, we have to create our attendance or overtime type. For that, we will go to create button and we will go to attendance and production type. Here we will create normal overtime. This is basically based on production, that is based on the hours which he works. So we will create it. And then we have holiday overtime. This the tariff will be different for this particular thing. And then we will have, I mean, if you have any other overtime category, you can create it as it is. Then what happens? We will go back to this employee's salary, defined salary field. Or sorry, before that, we have to create the overtime heading. We will go to create. We will say uh, public holiday overtime. This is an heading for employee, and this the heading will be like this as the same of the ledger. Calculation will be based on the production, that is because of the overtime. So here we have an option public holiday, normal holiday, overtime. So we'll select holiday overtime and we will save it. The normal overtime, it is already there. So we will select uh, the normal overtime. You can see over here, it is already created. Overtime charges, it is based on production, and this will be based on normal overtime. So this is how we have to create the pay head for that. Once that is done, we will go back to his salary details. Assume that whoever comes under this category, overtime category, you can change their salary details. For example, Mr. Anthony, his overtime charges are going to be different now. Normal overtime is already there, and we will be also adding a public holiday overtime that will be 1,000 per hour. For example, if he works on a public holiday, his overtime per hour would be 1,000 and the normal overtime will be 500. So, and we will save this. Now, whenever you wanted to make an overtime entry in the system, we will go to vouchers and we will click on other vouchers and we will click on attendance. You can also create a different voucher type if you wish to. I will just I will just show you how to create a new voucher type for only for overtime. So we will go to overtime voucher type. It will be under attendance, and rest all things keep it as it is and then save it. So instead of selecting attendance, we can also select overtime voucher type. So you can see the overtime voucher type has been different. So any point of time, if you want to filter the overtime of the employees, you can go to this particular voucher type and you will be able to filter it. And I will say Anthony, he worked on a normal overtime was 500, I mean 10 hours. Okay, and the same person holiday overtime he worked for 8 hours. Okay, and I will save it. Now, what we will do, we will process their overtime calculation in the, or we will process their salary for the month of February and see how it looks like. For posting the overtime for the payroll, we will go to vouchers. We will go to other vouchers and select payroll. Okay, and we will click on autofill, and Tally is asking you what exactly you are going to process. We are saying we are going to process a salary for the month of February. Do you want to process it for all employees or only one employee? We will say right now for the demo purpose, we will select only one employee, and we will select the cash and salary payable. And you can see here the salary has been calculated. Overtime, 10 hours, 500. Normal overtime is 500, that is 5,000. He got it. Holiday overtime, he worked for 8 hours, that is overtime charges was 1,000. So it is 8 into 1,000, it is 8,000 has come. And his salary has been calculated automatically and it will save the entry. Now, when we go back to his report purpose, go to display, payroll reports, payslip of Mr. Anthony for the month of February. It will show you how many days he was absent, holiday overtime, normal holiday time, how the calculation has been taken place. Everything will be displayed in the system. So this is how we calculate the overtime in Tally Prime. Hope you are clear with this. Now let me show you how to pull out the reports. You can go to display more reports. You have payroll reports. You have your payslip. Select the person whom you wanted to see his payroll. I mean the payslip. By default, it will be coming for February. And if you wanted to change the period, you can change the period as well. And based on that, you can take a print of this one and you can give it to your employee. It will also show you how many hours he worked overtime, how many days he was absent. All those information will be provided in the screen itself. And you will get a pay sheet. Pay sheet is nothing but employee-wise complete information will be provided here. This will be able to help the management to know what are the total expenses for the company from the point of view and employee point of view. What is the total cost to the company? And then you have an attendance sheet, how many hours the employee was present, absent, annual leave, how many overtime, what is our total overtime he has taken, how many sick leaves he have taken, what is the annual leave they have taken. All information in one screen. Employee wise, you will get it. Payment advice, email IDs with payroll statement, you will be getting it. Individual ledger wise, you will be able to see. Employee pay head breakup, you will be able to see here. And the gratuity records, you will be able to see. Department wise, what is the gratuity calculation is done here. What is eligibility salary and what is the gratuity amount. Based on that, it will automatically pull up the report. And SIF records are available for us to integrate, and payroll register is available, attendance register is available. Also, employee profile, the complete history of an employee will be provided in this particular screen. Headcount, January, how many employees was there, how many joined, how many resigned, what is the closing balance, what is the earning, what is the deduction, the complete history of that will be provided. And the expat report, who's the passport is expiring, when is it expiring, employee wise, passport number, country of issue, date of joining, everything will be provided by in this particular report. I hope this session was useful. Now if you have any clarification or if you need any help in implementing this Tally Payroll feature, you can always email me or you can WhatsApp me on the number which is provided. Please do subscribe my channel. This will help me to add more videos for you and your network for future. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much.